welcome to the last update and review. I'm your host, Jordan Vickers, and tonight we are going back to Burnout Paradise City. And tonight I have with me a regular of my show, Kevin.
Hey, you, I don't like your girlfriend. Okay, think you need a new one.
Wasn't expecting that. Oh,
Best song in the soundtrack. Best song in the game. Catchiest one out there. It's so good. Just takes me
yeah.
back hearing that.
So, yeah. So tonight, we are talking about Burnout Paradise City, the remastered version. And I'll be
Oh,
a little honest up front. I thought this game was a lot newer than it was. I thought it originally came out in 2018. That's when the remastered version came out. We're talking about a game that came out all the way back in 2008. So it's a little bit different. And tonight we're going to change things up a little bit. There are no story spoilers for this episode. So I don't think you really have to worry about things being actually spoiled tonight, unless if you really don't want to hear about driving mechanics or anything. But like I said, this game originally came out in 2008, or January 2008, and the remastered came out in March of 2016. So this remastered alone is like retro standard by
just a quick correction. 2018.
2018. Okay,
Yeah,
that I
and
must
this
have.
is it's called Burnout. It's just Burnout Paradise. That's the name. It's not Paradise
Oh
City.
yeah,
You're cruising
it
around
takes
Paradise
place in.
City. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can thank Guns N' Roses for that, because you will hear that song all the fucking time in this damn game. I love this game, and I love Guns N' Roses, but oh man, they really shilled out to get that one song in particular. So, but before we get to the main actual topic, Kevin, what else have you been playing lately?
So lately, I have been just obsessed with Subnautica Below Zero because lately Subnautica 2 just released in early access, and I thought, oh, this is a great time to jump into Below Zero because I never played it. Subnautica is one of my favorite games of all time, and I just never got around to Below Zero. So tried it out this week, and I'm immediately just back in and cannot get enough of this underwater terrifying world that we have here. And I'm just really chomping at the bit for anything on PlayStation that's like Subnautica now. So can't wait for the game to go 1.0 release and finally come out on PlayStation, but that'll probably happen in like 2 or 3 years. We'll see. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised people are talking about it like it's a full game right now.
It is not. That's fine.
Yeah,
And, but like it's releasing at like an early access state that a lot of people are excited about, and yes, there are going to have to be some changes in it to make it better. But from what I hear and what I've seen, it looks like it is a very well polished early access kind of game. And they have clearly said that, like, yes, we are adding a lot more to this down the line, but what we've put out now is supposed to be something that we did want to release to the public. So that's exciting. And Below Zero, I'm having a great time with. There have definitely been some moments where I have just shouted out, "Oh my God, what is that?" And as it comes swimming toward me and tries to eat me, but it's fascinating at the same time, and also a bit terrifying as you're trying to trudge through the dark waters of the Arctic on
yeah.
4546B.
I'm going to let people peek behind the curtain a little bit. Originally, we were going to do an episode on the first Subnautica, and I liked it at first, and then I had some issues with it. I didn't really like how I kept constantly looking for shit all the time. It messed with my ADHD so much, even when I put like mapping pins of like, I am looking for this thing to build this shit. I would just get distracted so easily. And then I built two mini submarines, and they both got destroyed, and it pissed me off so much. I'm just like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
This game ain't for me. There are parts of it I really did like. I liked the sea exploration. I thought that was neat, but the gameplay itself, I just don't. I didn't really care for it.
Yeah, yeah, it is definitely a survival and crafting game. Thankfully, they do have settings where you can turn the survival and crafting off, and you can just go into explore mode. And I don't know if like predators will not attack you, but you can just like you can tweak the settings to make it a lot easier sometimes.
I saw
So
that,
yeah,
but I kind of also figured like I feel like I would be experiencing half the game, even if it is a half I don't really care for.
yeah,
And I got a feeling it was really uh, they really baked in the survival mechanics for a good reason, as well as the crafting abilities. And I don't mind crafting in games. It's just something about this didn't quite click. And I think the biggest one for me was like, I think by the time I ended, I had something to make a beacon with, but I thought it was a little too late at that point. And I was
oh yeah,
kind of just frustrated. But as for myself, what I've been playing, I just got onto Final Fantasy Tactics, the Evilise collection. That's pretty nice. It looks pretty fun. It's Final Fantasy Tactics, so I might go into greater details on this game later on. But the more fun one is I got the Tony Hawk 3 and 4 remaster, and that's a nostalgia trip right there. Even though I like mostly played 1 and 2 back in the day, they're the same games but with new locales and different locations, and that's been kind of a fun thrill. And like, oh, they got a empty water park level in Alcatraz, and those levels are like fucking fun as hell. I'm enjoying the shit out of just like shredding all over the damn place.
yeah, yeah. You want to talk like songs that take me back to like certain games? Ace of Spades will take me right back to Tony Hawk 3.
Oh yeah, yeah. The soundtracks of these games, they don't have the same soundtracks like they did back then. There are a
Hmm.
couple of songs, but they're still really good, and I'm very happy with like getting this game on sale.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But enough about old games. Let's talk about an old game.
An even older game, yeah.
Yeah, an even older game. Oh,
Actually, technically no, because Tony Hawk 3 and 4 were like back on PS2 and GameCube, and that's where I had it on GameCube. But like Burnout Paradise, PlayStation 3. Let's go.
yeah. Uh, Let me ask you this: what is your history with the Burnout games? Because this is my very first one, actually.
Oh, okay. So I got the first Burnout game on GameCube, and like I was just mesmerized by how they made the cars look, how like at the time how realistic it looked, and how fast it felt, how crazy some of the crashes looked, and uh, the first Burnout, it was pretty much just from what I remember, it was uh, like 5 or 6 tracks, and that was the whole game. And you could run them back, like forward or backward in like two different directions, and that was it. They were sort of like just small representations of European cities like Paris, um, like somewhere in Spain, like Madrid, and maybe a little bit of Morocco thrown in there as well. Kind of like the Mediterranean area. That was like the my first experience with Burnout, and the game didn't even have like a crash mode to it. It was just racing, but it was super fast car racing that looked very destructive, and I loved it. Then had Burnout 2, of course. That's when they introduced the crash mode, and then Burnout 3, same thing, except even better. Burnout Revenge had that too, and I've been with the series every step of the way. Burnout Revenge is like one of my favorites, and that's because it just they took like the takedown method and the whole like thing about trying to make your opponents crash and while you're not crashing, and they took it to another level in Revenge, and then also added in some really fast time trial challenges that felt impossible at times, and I loved them. So then Burnout Paradise comes out, and like it's like, oh, let's do this in like an open world area, and I was like, hey, I'm so ready. And then I didn't get around to actually getting the game until I found it on sale a year later.
Yeah, so I remember like Burnout 3 being announced and everything, and shortly afterwards, a lot of people were talking about. They're like, "This is a really good game," and I'm sad I never got onto it, but I heard, and correct me if I'm completely wrong, in Burnout 3 and possibly 2, there were like mini games where part of the goal was crashing into shit.
Yeah, that's the crash mode, and
That's
you
the
have
crash mode.
the idea is that like they set up an intersection that's really crowded and it's got traffic going all different ways, and you just drive your car into it and see how much damage you can do, and how much destruction you can cause, how many different cars you can mess up. There are also money tokens peppered around these areas, like going off certain ramps, and so you can take different angles to this intersection to try and cause as much damage as possible, and then grab a couple of multipliers on the way, and just get the highest score possible.
Yeah, it sounds almost like a Super Monkey Ball mode, mini game mode for uh, cars. Actually,
Sort of, yeah, yeah,
sort of. Yeah. Uh,
yeah.
and you said you really loved Revenge. Is that like your favorite out of all of them?
Oh no, Paradise is my favorite.
Paradise is your favorite. Okay,
Yeah.
because it didn't seem like they had mini games in the traditional sense like they did with previous games on Burnout City. Uh, but it seemed like the events themselves are kind of the main attraction, and I really wouldn't call them like the side adjacent stuff.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, or
Well, like in the like what people reflect on now is like, especially with Burnout 3, people focus on crash mode, and
okay?
no one talks about the racing. But the racing felt really good too, and uh, that's what kept me going in it. It's like, oh yeah, it's fun to like have like a group of friends, and we all try and see who can get the best crash in the area. But really, like, I had a great time just racing on my own, and I would just run tracks over and over and play that way. With Burnout Revenge, I would just try and get as many takedowns as I could in a race.
Yeah, and is Burnout City or Burnout Paradise the last game with servers online, or are there some with still you can play online if you still want to?
I'm pretty sure that Burnout Paradise is the only Burnout game that has servers online now. I don't
Okay,
even remember, like, because I had uh, Burnout Revenge on Xbox way back in the day. I don't remember if that even had online. And
okay, that
yeah,
would make sense.
I don't quite remember that, but like Burnout Paradise did have a very robust online mode that they continually added to.
Yeah, and it's still online to this day. For fans of the show who remember Zach, I saw his name pop up everywhere in my copy because me and him are friends online, and there's a mode called Road Rage or Road Rules, where each road has a different time and showtime score that must be beaten. And his name was popped up on my copy kind of fucking everywhere. Like you need to beat you need to beat this to beat his time.
Yeah.
And we're trying to help a friend of ours to get a fucking trophy of all things. Later Sunday, we've been trying. The fact that we can do it to a game that's like about to turn 20 years old in a couple of years is a little insane in a way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
It's incredible.
yeah, like I said, their servers are still up. You can still play online. I think that's what makes things really interesting. What comes with the remastered, it doesn't just look better. It comes with all the DLC, with namely Big Surf Island, which is a despite the name, it's not really a big island at all. It seems really like about a fourth of the size of the rest of the map that's off to the side that you can go see, as well as a bunch of cars. And Kevin, you know that more about the DLC than I do.
Yeah, yeah. So, would you like me to just like start talking about the DLC from the beginning?
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely.
So they originally launched this game, and it did have online multiplayer, but it was not fantastic. It was okay. And the different modes in this game also were completely reworked too, because as an overview, I think it's important to talk about how the game functions compared to other racing games in this series. But normally, what you do is you just go into a menu and you'd select one of the races that's available, or you'd go and you'd select a crash, like one of the areas that you'd go to for crash mode. However, Burnout Paradise introduced the open world area, and you just drive around the city, and you stop at a stoplight and rev your engine. That will start the event that is based around that specific intersection. And every intersection with a stoplight in the game, in this map of Paradise City, is a different event. So the way they had you select the events, the stunt events, the races, the road rage events, all of these were completely new and very innovative for the time. And then the crash mode that was previously in the other games, where you'd find an intersection and see how much damage you can cause, completely different this time around. And instead of you going to a specific intersection and using that area as the crash mode, you just instantaneously activate your crash mode when you've crashed. And you try and bounce your car around whatever traffic you have in the area to cause as much damage as possible. Now, it is possible for you to bounce your car all around the city and just keep the combo going. And it's ridiculous. It goes as long as you can keep hitting other cars. And if you can somehow start a crash and like keep it going on the large highway that loops around the city, you can go indefinitely if you know how to do it right. Really interesting way to do the crash mode. It A lot of people were upset that it wasn't the conventional crash mode, but hey, like they wanted to innovate. So they had all of those. Then they had this online system where you could just do these different challenges that were mostly cooperative with other people. There were some races that you could do, but most of the time it was just kind of like, hey, get this many seconds of airtime collectively. And you just had to drive around, find ramps, and get like 90 seconds of airtime all together. But the online sort of system that they had was not great. It felt kind of limited, and so they released the first update called the Cagney update, and that brought that brought in more challenges for you to do. It also brought in a different way for you to interact with the game. It brought in some team events and stuff. It was great. It also introduced your the ability for you to play custom music that was stored on your PlayStation or your Xbox. So I would just constantly start to load up songs that I loved onto my PS3, and then I could select that particular playlist off of the in-game menu called Easy Drive, and you could play music that way. So that was the first update that they released. It was called the Cagney update, and it just completely changed the online system. And so the online system that you see now in the game is based on the Cagney update, and it completely reworked what they had. And that is something that you can see in the remastered version. And there are certain things that you can pick out in the remastered version that have been reverted back, because, like, for instance, you can't really play music from Easy Drive now because there's no way to really store music on your PS5 or your PS4 and then play it through the game. So that's been taken away, unfortunately. But they included the original soundtrack to the game instead, and all of the great songs in there, like "Girlfriend" by Avril Lavigne, one of my favorite songs from the game. Uh, but that's the Cagney update. Then maybe like a few months later, they introduced bikes, and people freaked out because bikes were in the game now. You could, it felt like it was the Road Rash game with a like Burnout skin to it, and it felt incredible. And that came with like all these different online challenges that you could do with friends, and ride around in like a gang in a bike on a bike in a biker gang. There were tons of trophies introduced with each of these DLC updates too. They had another DLC update that was also free, like the Cagney update, free, the bikes update, free, the party update, free, and it just adds more challenges for you to do and have some fun with people. They did have paid DLC, and they introduced legendary cars, which you had to like pay $5 for, but no big deal, because these cars I had to have at least, where you could get the P1288 special, which was a reference to the DeLorean from Back to the Future, and it pretty much looked exactly like the DeLorean from Back to the Future. It would even hover off the ground if you boosted at the right time, and it would create a trail of flames behind you. Awesome. You could get the Manhattan Spirit, which was pretty much the Ghostbusters car from the movie Ghostbusters. And it could run a siren. If you honked the horn, it would just run the siren from the movie. And then there was the GT Nighthawk, which was pretty much Kit from Knight Rider. So, oh yeah, and then there was also the Cavalry Bootlegger, which was the General Lee from Dukes of Hazzard. But that was one of the paid DLCs that came in. Then there were like boost special cars. There was like the hot rod that had its own way to boost, like go really fast. Toy cars, which pretty much just broke the game and felt ridiculous. The cops and robbers, which introduced a different online mode that was like a capture the flag kind of thing. And doing that in cars felt really good until everyone figured out that if you drive the F1 car, you're just faster than everybody and can run everyone off the road. It's ridiculous. But Big Surf Island was the last update they had. This is like DLC Pack 8. I've run through all 8 of them, and the last one, Big Surf Island, was the biggest that they had. It was the first time they introduced a new area to drive around in. And yeah, it might look like it's only a quarter of the size of the whole map, but it is dense and it has tons of events to do. And for a DLC to be a quarter of the size of the main game, that's pretty substantial if you really think about it. Like, a lot of times DLC adds in like a couple hours to like a 12-hour game or a 15-hour game. This added in like another 20 to 25% of content to the game. And it was really good. It was just more of the same of what you love about Burnout Paradise, if that's what you love. So there was so much added to this game over the course of 2 years, and it just kept coming and coming. It would have been awesome for them to add in even more area DLC. So, like, you have Big Surf Island. What if they could have added in like even more neighborhoods for you to drive through that were somewhere else around the city?
Yeah, the Surf Island, it takes place on the east side, and then
Mhm.
Paradise City itself is like a coastal region. I actually have in my notes, if there's one gripe I have with the game, is that Paradise City itself doesn't feel like it has its own flavor. if I had to pick it for any city, and it's only because it's like the coast is to the east, it felt like Miami at best.
Oh, okay,
But
yeah.
like real life cities like Las Vegas or New York, you can like pick those
Hmm.
out of photos and whatnot. This one, I just didn't feel like it really felt unique. It
Yeah.
felt kind of generic. And one thing that I could totally understand why they didn't have this in, but for a big open city off the coast, I was like, there's no weather effects in the game, or at least I didn't come across any.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would be a feature today for sure.
It totally would, yeah. But back in 2008, there that was not a regular thing, and neither was like actual like. Also, this is just a made up city, and so they threw in elements of other cities that they could use. Like it's got elevated trains like Chicago and New York have, but it's not Chicago or New York, and it's got a lot of hills and in the back areas like. The backside of Los Angeles, but it's really green, so that's not really like Los Angeles, but it's got those back hills and stuff for you to race around in. It's got windmill farms, it's got an observatory for you to drive past, and it's got all of these interesting features that could be seen in a city that you've been to, but it's not exactly that city. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's not quite there. One
Yeah.
interesting thing that I did love about this is how they structured all of these events for you to play in. Where like if you're racing, if you're doing stunts and stuff, like it feels like no matter where you are in the city, there's always something to do nearby, and it's not hard to find another thing to do. And so when I was playing this back in 2009, I got it for $20 in 2009. uh, Total steal. The game crazy that I bought it from is gone. The building has been demolished. It's completely a thing of the past. But I still remember going in there and picking up Burnout Paradise on a whim, and it was like a great steal for $20. So the thing of it being in 2008 though is that the design of this city was of the time, and it definitely does feel dated now. Doesn't mean it's any less fun. I mean, I lost 2 hours driving around the city and had a great time doing it. But this is like finishing a race and then seeing what's nearby and being like, oh, that's pretty close, I could just go do that. One more race, just one more race is really easy. And that's how I end up like going to bed super tired at 1:30 in the morning and be like, oh shit, like what time is it? Okay, I gotta go to bed.
If there is one main goal of the game, it is to get an A or S class ranked driver's license. You start off with a D, and in order to get your driver's license up a rank, you complete a certain number of events according to your driver's license class, and the events get harder and harder as you go along. And that's kind of the real name of the game. There's no story, there's no plot. Hell, there's not even a driver. If you were able to smash your door open, which I was able to do, you clearly can see like there's no driver in that car.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, yeah. And there's like no pedestrians. There's no people in the city
No.
whatsoever. The only things that are around are just other driving cars, and some are just regular drivers, and some are racers. And that's kind of it. It literally is
Yeah.
what you see is what you get sort of game.
The only
What?
person you're going to see in the entire game is you're going to see the driver or the rider of your motorcycle, and that's it. And when you crash, they just disappear. You don't even see them in the crash animation.
Yeah, I didn't actually pick out motorcycles because I was having uh, a little too much fun picking out other rides, but I actually have a note in here about that where okay, yeah. My main car of choice was the Hunter Manhattan Custom,
Oh
probably
yeah.
because it it felt like just the right stats. It felt fast to drive, sturdy enough to not wobble around all over the place, and it could take a hit or two.
Hmm.
But aesthetically, it was like, okay, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cheesy. It's a like a 1950s Chevrolet hot rod car with fins
Hmm.
and it custom flame job. It's what Guy Fieri would fucking drive. But the shitty thing is, like, I saw cool cars that look so much cooler to drive, like the Nakamura Ikuza, which
Oh,
are
it feels so good.
yeah the I I thought it felt okay.
Hmm.
I loved the way it looked though. And I just was like, man, I wish you could like build up your own stats in the game, earn stats, because like I would totally pick totally different cars on aesthetics alone versus how they
Hmm.
felt. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna drive what feels good. Going back to the Ecto One, you're like, oh man, the Ecto One, I'm gonna drive that, and you do, and it was shit because it was so top heavy and you would like you would drift or turn when you're not even trying to and you're just like
Yeah.
okay I can't I it looks cool but I cannot
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and when you first start off the game like you get all that those DLC cards dropped on you but I would highly suggest that you start off with the car it starts off to give you with. And what you do is you'll like, complete events, and then you have the options to be able to earn more cars. And what how that happens is there's a DJ man going over your speaker stereo, and he'll say, "Hey, this car is now available. You must run him off the road in order to get it." And that is how you unlock the cars. You find these guys and they drive around and you smash into them on the side, and if you run them off the road, that's it. You can go pick that up. And it's one of those games where you want to get how the basics of a car feels before you get to the really high stat shit. Otherwise, when you turn or when you drift, you'll just crash into something
Hmm.
because the stats build so gradually it gives you a very natural feel on like, okay, I'm glad I didn't, just stick with the fastest car at the beginning. Otherwise, I wouldn't figure out how to drive it, and I'd get really, really frustrated with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so it's kind of a thrill to just hear the announcement where DJ Atomica he just like comes over the radio and he says the Montgomery Hyperion is now cruising around Paradise City. If you see it, shut it down to earn it to your or add it to your garage. Like,
Yeah,
I'm so on the lookout for this thing, and then it zoom by and be like, oh shit, there it goes. Like,
yeah, you'll figure out what these cars are because they will drive so much more aggressively than the other cars, and they're only in free mode. And free mode is when you're just not doing an event.
yeah,
Uh,
they also they seem to spawn very close to you right when that is. So it's like there's no real searching for these cars, and it's not hard to find them.
no,
You'll see them. It's really easy.
yeah, you'll run across them sooner or later.
Yeah.
And I was able to get an A light rank license in like a few days. Like back in the day, this is what you would. This was a renting game for sure. I mean, you could obviously buy it if you really wanted to, but it was
Hmm.
like one of those. Oh, this would be great for a renter's market, and it kind of came literally at the tail end of when like stores like that were available. Um,
There was that, but at the same time, like this was for me at least, this was a much more casual kind of game where I would start playing this after I was, done for the night playing BioShock. and so like I would jump into this and say like, well, I'm just going to do a couple of races, and then time would fly by and I would have done 10 races instead. But there are like 150 races for you to do total. So or that, or like I would like try and complete a burning route, or a fast time on a particular street, whatever. But that that mentality of just jumping in for a few races and then bouncing out was really easy. And that's one thing that helped me at least not sell the game, as well as like every few months you get this new update with DLC that comes in, and that was happening like for 2 years.
It's time for you to be the marked man. You are here. The other drivers are chasing you southwest to the naval yard. If you arrive in one piece, you get a mark on your license.
What I really like about this game, it's a great early example of color coding. Like we laugh about like the yellow paint on the climbable walls today, but they were honestly a bit more sneaky about this. I think it's ironically done better than what we've seen today. There are gates you can crash through in free mode, and they don't really serve a purpose other than they introduce to you possible shortcuts when you're on a race, and
Yeah,
something for you to keep in mind by. But they're like just cage steel gates with yellow "do not go through" signs, and they stand out just enough where you're like, I wonder if I can go through that. And you do it, and you quickly
yeah.
learn, okay, I need to keep an eye out for those signs.
Hmm.
And they do the similar thing with billboards where they're like this bright red uh, thing, and you're like, you run through them and you get a completion point for being able to like run through billboards. There's an entire list of objectives that are just side optional for you to do, like run through billboards, go through those gates. The funnest ones are the big jumps.
Yeah.
They'll have these blue cones to show you, like normally when you would see these blue cones in real life, you'd be like, yeah, stop your car, you're about to go over the edge. But in the game, they're like, this is a jump. And they're so fun to nail. Like you
Yeah.
want to put on your boost and just hit those things as hard as you can, otherwise you're going to crash. But in this game, there's no real penalty to crashing, which is honestly really good. At first, I thought it was a drawback because I was like, well, I'm not being punished. But then I realized, oh, I am crashing so much that if there was a penalty, I would go nowhere fast.
Crashing is part of the fun.
Yeah. And that is a big portion of it. The only drawback is when you do crash during a race, you get you lose some time, obviously, and
Yeah.
that's about the only drawback. And there are certain modes where you are trying to make it from point A to B without crashing, period, while
Hmm.
people are just trying to ram into you.
Yeah. Yeah, there's also like the takedown events, and if you crash a certain number of times, you're done with the event. And if you crash while you're trying to do a stunt, you don't get those points. It's that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
yeah, there are penalties to crashing, but it's not severe.
there is a mode where you get points in a certain amount of time, and how you get points, it's a little lackluster. You just try to hit a jump as much as you can, and try to hit jumps before a combo timer runs off or before you just crash completely. They're
Yeah,
actually one of the easiest things to do in the entire game.
because you can keep your combo going just by boosting,
Yeah,
and
and they give you a lot of points. Like,
it's really easy to earn boost also just by
yeah,
driving through oncoming traffic.
yeah. And speaking of boosts, like different cars, you earn boosts certain ways. One is like by narrowly dodging traffic, another's done by drifting, another one's done by just ramming shit off the road. Um, and that's how you earn your boost. And it's just something to keep in mind because you can't change that. It's literally
Yeah.
done differently by whatever car you have. Uh,
depends on your car. There are three different types of boost, and yeah, the stunt boost is like you just get more boost by doing stunts. The takedown boost, that's the red style. It's also great that they have color coded as well. So if you're driving a car with a green boost, you know that's a stunt car. If you're driving a car with a red boost, you know that's the takedown style boost, and so you get more boost by ramming other racers off the road. And the yellow booster is you just build up your boost by doing those two things, but you don't get like a special like added boost by doing that. However, if you use up your entire boost meter all at once, you do what's called a burnout, and that will get you more boost added to your boost meter for your next like boost available. So what you want to do is chain those together, and that was a mechanic that was in the very first game. It's been there since the beginning, and that's the name of the game, Burnout.
yep. Uh, One thing I should really mention, though, and it's probably one of the most interesting aspects of this game, when you are racing, it'll say, okay, we're starting at this corner, and you need to go all the way to this other side of the map. And it doesn't give you an arrow exactly on how to get there. There are so many intersections in this game that I don't know how you would do this very well on online mode, but I had to cheat most of the time and pause the game and look at the map and like, okay, what the fuck is going to be my route? And that's kind of half of the fun of the game because I told you there are shortcuts everywhere in this game. And the funny thing is, sometimes those shortcuts aren't exactly in your favor. They'll take you off course rather than cutting a course. But if you can also figure it out, they can be really helpful at times too. And I'd say most of the times I did lose a race, it's because A, I took a wrong turn, or B, somebody forced me into a wrong turn.
Yeah, yeah. What's great though is that if you're paying attention during the race, there will be what's also great is that they've named every single street in the game, and the street sign for the intersection will start coming up on at the top of your screen, and it will start flashing if that is the optimal route for you to take. So if you can see that coming, you can take that turn and still be on the optimal route, like the fastest route through the game. However, it doesn't take into account shortcuts. So there were a couple of times, like a few nights ago, where I would take a shortcut because I knew it was a better route, but the game didn't calculate that. It doesn't take into account points where you go off the road.
Yeah, it will tell you what place you're in, but sometimes you could be so far ahead of the game, but you're so off the normal route, it'd be like you're in last place.
Yeah,
When
and that would happen to me. Yeah.
yeah, when in all actuality, you're in first place. And it's like never the other way around though. You're never in like last place when you're really in, or you're never in first place when you're really in last place.
That's part of the thrill. It's like, you see that you're in 8 out of 8, and you're still cruising around on a dirt path, and you never quite know until you do get back out onto the pavement, and then that's when it switches over from eighth to first, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm in. So
Yeah.
it works really well. It's part of the anticipation.
One complaint I have about the game is if you're on a race and you shove someone off the road, they're still in the race. They're slowed down a little bit, but you can't just totally eliminate your opponent.
Yeah, there
Which,
aren't any sort of like death races, so to speak, in the
yeah,
game.
and like I said, they're still in the race. They can like
Mhm.
catch up to you and run your ass off the road. And once when you get to a B or A license, that's more likely to happen. Um,
Yeah.
the getting to an AE license, that's when I would say the challenge really starts in. But the funny thing about this game, there is a really weird thrill on like going top speed when you're in the thick of the city and just barely dodging shit. It almost feels like pod racing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Try doing that in like the elevated train area. It's nerve wracking.
Yeah.
I don't do that. That's not my thing.
Yeah, you can go up in parking garages. There's a higher highway area, a train area. Actually, I kind of liked being on certain tracks on the train because on my end, I was dealing with a lot less shit.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
only problem is like I need to get off this track sooner or later because a turn is coming up that I need to get onto,
Hmm.
and they have barriers on the wall, and you can't just run yourself off the road half the time when you're on
No.
those
No.
trains.
Yeah. So one thing that really does make the racing in this game special is how it's structured. Yes, it is an open world game, but yeah, and you start from any random corner that has a stoplight. However, the endpoint of all these races have only one of 8 locations in the city, and that that forces you to wherever you are to race almost all the way across the city, and it gets you to places that you weren't in before. So it's very easy for you to just find yourself in a new place with tons of other shit to do.
Yeah, there would be times I just finish a race and I would just drive around and kind of explore the area.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. I love, like, starting a race up near the wharf in the northeast, and you find yourself like out at the observatory in the northwest, or down at the ranch in the southwest. It somehow uh, is very easy for you to just take it. The game just takes you from one place to another so fast.
Yeah, the only problem is I really did hate it when a race would end so far out to the west side because you're like, God damn it, there is nothing out here, and I've already done the 4 intersections that are clear out here. I need to drive myself all the way back to the fucking city just to start another race.
At that point, you just turn on the music that you're into and cruise, and that's the fun. But then when you're playing online, then they add in more stuff to do, and some of these online, like online challenges, they have nothing to do with things that exist in, or like they have you do things that don't have any purpose in the base game in offline. So like there's an airfield in the very center of the map that you can only find by stumbling upon it or being told to go there for an online event. And I just happened to find it by accident because I was exploring the city offline. And I drove in there, and like there's a massive airfield with tons of ramps and uh like things for you to fly through off these ramps, different things for like different types of ramps for you to do flips on. It is a stunt paradise, but it is meant for online only. And like there's nothing that's going to drive you into this airfield to do that. The same goes for the dirt track that is over by the ranch. There is no event that happens in the dirt track, but if you're online, there might be a free burn challenge that has you race on this figure 8 dirt track that is next to the ranch. And you wouldn't know about this track unless you actually took the time to like carefully go through the opening that will take you to it, that's right next to the ranch. So it's really weird how they hid stuff in this game for online only purposes, but you can still visit it offline. It's just that it doesn't do anything when you're there alone. Fascinating.
I ran across the airfield on complete accident as well, and it took me
Nice.
a while to like.
Yeah.
What do you? It feels like there's some purpose here, and like, oh, it's online, and
Yeah.
uh, no
But
one I
you can go in
knew.
there.
I was
You
going to
could
say, I
just go in
just
there and play around.
yeah, and that's kind of half the fun. One thing that did crack me up, like we said, we have a buddy who wants to get this one trophy, and that trophy is to have 8 players online go to the baseball park. Well, I'm driving around and we're just on party chat talking. I'm like, guys, I'm by the baseball field. How the fuck do you get in there? And like, you just run right into it. Like, where? And then we find out there's 2 baseball parks and one you can't fucking enter.
Specifically, this is the Wildcats baseball stadium. It's one of the 8 points on the map where you finish a race. So they regularly mention it, and like you should know where it is after you've been playing the game for a few hours at least. And yeah, it's down in the southeast. But where were you when you thought you were outside the right stadium?
I was clear out west, and if you look on the map, you'll see a baseball stadium next to a football stadium. That's where I
Oh, the high
was at.
school. You were at the
Yeah.
high school.
Okay. Yeah. That would make sense why there's a football stadium next to a baseball stadium. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm no big sports guy, but I could have sworn being in Kansas, like, the Kansas City Royals and the Chiefs were the only 2 people I knew who did that shit. But
Yeah, but you found it eventually. Yeah.
yeah, I found it eventually. Yeah, I think you said it's in the south east corner. I'm like, what? And then I looked on the map, like, well, sure enough, there's an entire different baseball stadium. Okay, I'll go to
Yeah.
that one, and I was able to find it just fine.
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
We were talking about the songs earlier, and you clearly have a thing for the Avril Lavigne song, and it is mostly rock music, but there's some rap in there too. And the odd thing is, I think it changes once you end an event. One time I got stuck on classical music, and I had to Google, how do I change the radio station? And Google was like, that's the neat thing. You don't. And I'm like, well, okay. And they had a vast collection of like Beethoven and Mozart and all this other shit. And it's funny for about like 2 seconds. And then you're like, okay, I want to listen to something else now. And shortly
Yeah.
after that, I kind of turned off the music, and either I would not listen to the game at all while listening to like something random on YouTube, or I would just listen to you guys on Party Chat, or I would open up
Mhm.
my own Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you could do is go into the options menu and turn on or off certain songs for your soundtrack. And I just turn all the classical music off. It doesn't feel right to race with that.
Remember, you can customize events as the host, change the start and finish points, add checkpoints, and change the rules. It's up to you. Time for our Crash FM problem slot with Dr. Atomica. Dear Doc, I can only boost when my bar is full. I want boost all the time. Yours, Gary. Well, Gary, shut your whining yap and get yourself a car with aggression or stunt boost. The doctor is most definitely in at Crash FM.
I'm kind of surprised. There's like 92 songs on here, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of surprised this game is still up and running by the huge amount of just IP songs on here, because usually that shit runs out by now legally. They're like, well, your contract with this is over, got to take the game offline.
Yeah. Yeah. But it seems like they have at least contracted it for a long extended period, thankfully. So there were a lot of games way back in the day that didn't learn that lesson, that like they had to pull a whole game because the soundtrack or like a song that was in there just couldn't be relicensed. And there are some of my favorite games that just can never be played again because of that. Thankfully, Burnout Paradise isn't one of them, and they've at least got all the soundtrack, like all the tracks back. And I don't know for how long, but I'm thankful they are still here.
Yes. So, like I said, at a certain point, you can go for an S-class rank. And Kevin, I imagine you platinum this game, correctly?
Yes, I did.
So, does the S rank give you something special?
You do get a special car, and really, like, what's the point of earning the special car now that you've done everything in the game? You could take it online, and if you can drive with it, then it's a great car. But really, you should stick with a car that feels good to you and that you're best skilled with. So you don't necessarily have to use this like end game car, and really the S rank class is really just there to show that, like, oh, you've done everything in the base game. That's great. And some of those events are genuinely really hard. Like, one of the late game cars that you get is just a Formula One car, and the you have to finish every event in this game. That means you also have to do what's called the burning routes, and that a burning route is a dedicated route that is for one specific car in the game, and every car has a burning route somewhere in the city. So you have to find this starting point and race around the city uh, to then, like, finish this burning route. Well, the the one particular burning route for the Formula One car is to race the entire highway that loops around the city. And yes, there are no intersections technically, but it is really hard to do because there's a lot of traffic on the highway, and the Formula One car is very twitchy. It just turns really sharply at the slightest touch. So it is incredibly hard, and it took me quite a while to master. But the earning the S class rank is no small feat, just because it takes a lot of time as well, and you have to do every event in the game. You don't have to do everything in Big Surf Island. That was extra, and you don't have to do anything for the bikes. That was also extra. But uh, doing just all of the car events, and that's all the stunts, all the races, and all the takedown uh, challenges, and then all the burning routes, and doing all those gets you the S class rank. But oh boy, yeah, and the car at the end, not really worth it. It's just the bragging rights, you know.
It's literally the trophy car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, do you have any final thoughts? Man, I can't believe we're
So
finishing this like in an hour.
in like a record time, right? One
Yeah.
thing we didn't mention, and at least this is something that I had on PS3, is so if you had a PS3 camera connected to your system, you could take a picture, and you could take a profile picture for your license. And the picture I took for this with my PS3 camera was just a picture of a wet towel.
I mean, that's more creative than what a lot of dudes would put as their profile picture. So,
You couldn't do anything obscene because that would be against Sony's terms of service. But I thought of just like, what's the dumbest thing that I could do? Oh yeah, in my room right now, I've got a wet towel on my chair here. Picture of this. So
um,
then also, if you had a camera hooked up to your system and you were racing, one great thing is that if you crash, the camera would take a picture of you, or it would just take a picture. And a lot of times, I every once in a while, I would see someone with a camera, and when they would crash online, and I almost always would get the middle finger from that person because it was just like, "Ha, you crashed!" uh, and it was just hilarious. There there was one time where, like, I would crash, and so I would when I'd crash, I would see the picture that was taken of me, and it was just me with, like, my head cocked to the side, just going like, "Oh no!" That was so close. But it added some more fun to the game because it reminded you that you were playing on a line with real people. Also, like, the party chat, at least on PS3, was completely open. And so if you joined a lobby with somebody just to race, you would automatically hear their microphone. I heard a lot of really weird conversations online.
I'm sure you did. I
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
not miss that part online whatsoever.
But also, I also got to tease a lot of very annoying 12-year-old kids. Where it would be a random Tuesday morning in April or something, and there would be some kid online, and I would just be like, "Dude, kid, what are you doing? Why are you not in school?" And then I'd make him crash, and then I'd say like, "Ha, I took you to school though."
Oh,
Yeah.
so what would you rate this game?
Oh man, like, what is the rating system for this game? Like, God,
Whatever you want it to
it's
be.
so
I
hard.
would personally, for reference, I think this is a solid 8.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I would give this. Let's see. I'll say I'll give this 12 crashes out of 15 super nice cars. How about that? Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. That no, like this is one of my favorite games of all time. I understand it's been surpassed by other games. It has been, Criterion is not the same studio that they used to be when they made this game in 2008, but the the spirit of Burnout has popped up in a couple of other games, namely the Need for Speed games. Need for Speed Most Wanted that came out in 2012, great sort of spiritual successor to this. It added cops to this game. It added cops to the formula of the game, which was really good. The city that you race in Most Wanted did not feel as good, and also you didn't have to make cars crash to earn them. You just had to find them on the somewhere on the map and then jump in them and drive them, and that was it. That was how you got the car. But here you have to make it crash to earn it. And then let's see, Need for Speed Heat again felt very close to Burnout Paradise. They had a lot of staff on that team from Criterion that worked on Paradise, so that's why it felt so good and so close to the previous one. In a lot of ways, I feel like Need for Speed Heat is even better than Burnout Paradise, but Paradise still has a special place in my heart.
Yeah. So, well, I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Man, really awesome, quick episode. That means
Yeah.
it's going to be a breeze for me to edit. I love that shit.
Oh, good. Good.
Kevin, where can people find you?
So you can find me mostly on Discord at the Portland Kevin. I am also on a few social media channels. I don't check them regularly, but I do have an account there at the Portland Kevin. So you can try to contact me there if that's your preferred method. But I am almost always on Discord.
Yeah, and when I say where can people find you, I mean more like where can people listen to your shit?
Oh yeah, so I run the PlayStation Plus Game Club, and that is part of the Trophy Talk Network. And coming up for June, we are going to be talking about Skate Story. I was actually planning on starting it tonight, so after we get done with this, I might jump into that if I can resist the urge and the pull of Subnautica. But yeah, Skate Story is coming up for that, so that episode should be going up sometime in June, and then beyond that, I'm not sure what's coming up. So. Also, you and I earlier today recorded another episode of Trophy Talk spontaneously, and we're talking about our hopes and dreams for the upcoming State of Play, and that should be airing in a couple of weeks. This episode might be up before then, but you know, I'm hoping for good things this State of Play.
Me too, as
Yeah.
you guys will hear if you go to the Trophy Talk Network. Uh, they've been great friends. Most of them have been on the show before. I've been on their shows. Go check them out. As for myself, I am Jordan Vickers. Hey, if you guys really like me, check me out at my Patreon for the $5 thank you tier, where you can hear the what I've been playing lately podcast, and I will finally get a new episode for that. I promise soon. Um, but as for myself, I'm Jordan. This is Kevin, and we
Thank you.
wish you all an awesome night. Goodbye.
Hey, you.